Welcome to Superior VGC Week 1, where we have Curse Shaka versus Sallow. We have a nice matchup here. We have Curse rocking Sylveon, Armor Rouge, Torkoal, Lilligant, Indeedee, and Braviary. Note, this is not the female Indeedee, this is the male Indeedee. And then Sallow with the Murkrow, Baxcalibur, Garganacl, Maushold, Gothitelle, and Volcarona. Both these teams in their own selves are very much so, surprisingly, very competitive meta teams. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two players kind of play it out and see what strategies they bring into the table. This being a draft league, it's going to be more crucial than ever to kind of prepare for your opponent, whether you want to do so in a more metagame centric preparation strategy, or if you want to try crazy tech out like you usually see in draft league, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see which of the two dynamics we get here. Hopefully we get to see some draft preparation in terms of the Terra typing, because this is an open Terra type draft league. This is very much so like VGC. So we're going to have a best of 3 match here. It's bring 6, or you have 6 Pokemon on your team, but you bring 4, and ultimately they have open team sheets. So both players have shared their Poke Pastes, so they know what's going on. So let's see how this matchup plays out. It is Curse Shaka versus Sallow. Sallow leads off with Volcarona and Murkrow, as we see Curse leading off with Torkoal Lilligant. Now, Torkoal Lilligant really easily can set up this Sun with Drought and then hit up an After You Eruption, potentially Sleep Powder rather than After You Eruption, as where Sallow can just do a lot, really. You can protect the Mothra, you can Tailwind with that Murkrow. Murkrow having Prankster and being so so important in this VGC metagame early on with VGC Series 1. Murkrow can do a lot of things, right? You can Quash, you can Rain Dance, you can Sunny Day, you can Tailwind. It has access to so many different moves. And here we're going to go ahead and see what our two players decide to go for. You see Volcarona going ahead and protecting, and then hopefully Murkrow sets something up, and it does indeed. It sets up the Rain Dance, disabling the Sun that Torkoal went ahead and set up. So this After You, not necessarily going as strong as it should have, as fast as it should have. As we see Torkoal's Eruption in the rain, going to be a lot weaker than usual with that Sun. Volcarona not being hit by it because of the Protect, and Murkrow just not getting much damage, really. It seems like that might be a Eviolite, as where, you know, we don't have the open sheets, but these players do. So we're going to see Curse here trying to switch out his Mons. Probably making a really, really interesting double pivot, it looked like. So we have the Indeedee coming in. Again, this is that male Indeedee, and it also is rocking the Psychic, or the Terrain Extender, rather. So we do see the Tailwind, so it was not a double switch. We just got that one switch. It was a Tailwind from Murkrow. And we have that Volcarona hitting that Hurricane on Lilligant, which is almost a one-hit KO. It does trigger that Focus Sash from that Lilligant. So again, Sallow with very much so a dominating start here with this extremely strong lead, surprisingly, even though we know Curse has the Torkoal, we know Curse has the Armor Rouge, we know he has the Psychic Terrain now in the field, which usually Armor Rouge sets so much pressure up with that. But the fact that Sallow has been able to set up a Tailwind and just comfortably get Mothra to lower Lilligant's HP to 1, at this point, you know, Curse set himself up well with the Psychic Terrain to avoid any priority moves. But the fact that Tailwind's up there, it really doesn't matter much. That 1 HP Lilligant, if the Sun is not back up, it's not really going to do much here. As we see Sallow withdraw the Murkrow and bring in what seems to be Baxcalibur, and it is indeed Baxcalibur. Now this Pokemon, a pseudo-legendary, very scary, and Curse opts to switch out as well as he switches into that Armor Rouge we were just talking about. So now with there being no, and one shot into the Indeedee from the Volcarona, that is a very strong Volcarona. And again, like we said, Curse right now, he can hit both Mons with that expanding force, but there is a Tailwind on the opponent's side. So that Tailwind is going to put a lot of pressure on Curse. I don't believe Curse has any sort of speed here on the board, because we only have that Lilligant with After You. And that 1 HP Lilligant with After You cannot switch in and use After You, obviously. So at this point, Curse is at the mercy of that Baxcalibur putting pressure into his Terra. As we see, it's a grass-type Terra. So Curse has two options. He could Terra that Armarouge, try to go for a Heat Wave, but Baxcalibur does not get damage from the fire moves, or as much damage from the fire moves. And then Volcarona can just Bug Buzz into that area, or Baxcalibur can just hit that Ice move on him. So Curse is extremely pressured here as we see Sallow completely dominate this round 1. Curse running out of time, not being able to make a solid decision. Hitting that Expanding Force, going into the Protect on Torkoal. So let's see what's going on here in this match. All right, we see Volcarona taking that Terra, and Volcarona Terra's into the Flying type. So I'm going to anticipate a Earthquake coming in from this Baxcalibur, most likely. I wonder if the right decision was made, as we do see that Hurricane coming in from Volcarona. It is going to be a very strong hit, and it one-shots that Torkoal. Volcarona is extremely powerful here. And we do know it's Life Orbed as well, as we've been seeing. And we see the Earthquake come in from Baxcalibur, not affecting the Mothra because of that defensive Terra typing. And we see Armarouge almost go down entirely there as the Expanding Force comes in. Is it enough to take anything down? It takes down the Volcarona. That is a very scary threat that at least was taken care of. But now, you know, Curse has a lot of work to do. He does have the Sun, which is great. You know, it's a good thing to have that Sun there. But what exactly do you do, right? You bring in this Lilligant with After You, and you do have that Murkrow which can just Rain Dance and set everything back up. But instead we see Garganacl, and probably just as bad is this Garganacl, because I don't think there's going to be a move here that Curse has in his arsenal that can just one-shot this thing, depending on how the spreads are set up. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Curse decides to play this round. He goes for a Wide Guard, probably predicting an Earthquake here, and hopes to get Lilligant to take out the Garganacl for him. So let's see how this plays out for Curse. I think this round is in the bag for Sallow. Very dominant performance here in round 1. Curse is going to have to look at his team sheet here in last few rounds and kind of come up with some sort of modification to his team. Either the way he leads, the way he plays the board, but he has to figure out a way to take himself into a position where he's exerting the pressure onto Sallow. As we see Sallow here rotate back into that Murkrow. Curse opts the Terra. We see that Terra coming into the Armarouge. Armarouge rocking that grass Terra typing right now. And again, this grass Terra typing is very common in both Armarouge and Cerulege in Series 1 VGC. So Curse does seem to have created a very standard meta VGC team against his opponent Sallow, but we do see Sallow's Garganacl does have to have some sort of special defense investment there, because that Energy Ball did no damage to Garganacl, and it does have a Citrus Berry, so it does recover some of that HP. Salt Cure comes in, knocks out that Lilligant, and now it's a 3v1 match for this Armarouge. So Tailwind peters out from the opponent's side of the field. Wide Guard did absolutely nothing for Curse here, and now he can either go for Heat Wave or he can go for Expanding Force, and it's going to be a very tough spot for him. Murkrow is still fast asleep, which is always great for Curse. That we did see that it went for a Prankster move because it tried to move first. Expanding Force doesn't affect the Murkrow. We're going to get some damage on his Garganacl. Is it going to be enough? It is enough. So Curse, again, has been able to knock 2 of those Mons out, and it's a 1v2. You know, if Murkrow wakes up... Oh no, the Life Orb. The Life Orb damage was enough. Oh no, how unfortunate. Interesting. It's interesting to see that if in the rain, or rather, if in the sun, Curse potentially could have taken out Sallow with the Heat Wave if Murkrow stayed asleep another turn. Wow. That was a good round 1. Sallow, very dominant performance on Sallow's side. So, again, we're going to kick into the round 2 here in just a second, and I'll catch you guys on that side. We are here for round 2 of Curse versus Sallow, as we do get some glitches on the screen. And we do have a little bit of a switch here. We do see the Maushold Gothitelle lead from Sallow, as we see the Braviary Sylveon from Curse. Now, this is a very interesting matchup here because Gothitelle can opt to go for a Trick Room, and I know that pressure alone will make Curse think about going for Tailwind, because if Curse opts to go for Tailwind, he automatically just gives Sallow all the advantage of setting that Trick Room up. Now, Maushold is nothing to just buff at either. It probably has Friend Guard. We see a fake out from that Gothitelle to Braviary. We see Population Bomb come on to Sylveon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 hits, and Sylveon is out. That little critical hit as a cherry on top for you. Maushold is a very, very, very threatful Pokemon if unchecked. And Curse does not have a Ghost Terra that we've seen so far. So that Population Bomb is going to hit everything. Ghost is the only type that is not affected by normal moves. And as we see now, Curse, I feel, is in another pickle. We only have an Armarouge. We only have an Indeedee. And again, Maushold threatens everything. So we're going to see what the Braviary wants to opt to go for here. I don't know if Braviary was the best bring, as Curse is actually verifying the ability to make sure he is locked in. And of course he is. He's shadow tagged in. Again, a Ghost Terra typing would have been great here to allow Curse to be able to transition, pivot, and not get hit by Population Bomb. Again, Sallow has done a very good job at leading off with pressure onto his opponent. As we see a Population Bomb coming into Armarouge, this will most likely just knock out the Armarouge in one go. Sallow making Curse's team completely useless. By definition, they're just coming in, being knocked out immediately. And again, that pressure from that Gothitelle, setting up that Trick Room at any moment, it's a lot of pressure for any sort of team to kind of not want to set themselves up for failure. As we just see this Gothitelle go for the offense here with Psychic. We do see that Braviary is rocking the leftovers. And again, it's a very interesting bring from Curse's side, that Braviary. It's curious to see what the strategy was behind it. As we do see the Indeedee coming in now. Again, nothing really taking any sort of benefit on Curse's team from this Indeedee coming in now. Indeedee on its own is not too threatful. Gothitelle benefits from this Psychic terrain now. Again, Braviary in a really bad position. Curse in a very tight position. And Sallow hasn't even shown his back two Mons. Again, very, very, very dominant display from the Cuernavaca Cyndaquils. Sallow, rebrand. Sallow just completely dominating Curse here in week 1 of the Superior VGC. We see Curse opt to go for a Terra here. Maybe trying to set up a back leg offense here. As we see that Indeedee actually Terra into the Fairy typing, probably being set up for that Baxcalibur. So it seems there was some sort of approach to dealing with a potential build for... Oh, there was only one hit from that Maushold. Incredible. But it does seem that Curse did prepare for the general metagame for Series 1, but he also just used the Terras as his preparation for his opponent. I don't know. I don't know how this team building went on Curse's side here. There is no Ghost Terra, which leads me to believe that there's no preparation for that Maushold. But we did see at least the Indeedee take out that Maushold, or rather the Braviary take out that Maushold, and that Maushold only hit Indeedee once with that Population Bomb, which can be a saving grace here. Is it going to be enough for Curse to turn this thing around and push in for a round 3 against Sallow? I'm not too sure. Sallow has a lot of pressure onto Curse right now. That Braviary barely has any sort of HP. If Curse can get some sort of recovery on it, that would be great. We did see it had Roost, but we are again seeing the Volcarona come in, and we all know what Volcarona did last round. It was very dominant, putting a lot of pressure onto Curse. It's going to be very interesting to see what Curse opts to do here. Players taking a good amount of time here. As we see Sallow withdraw Gothitelle, showcasing the final mons in the back probably. As we do see that there is a Garganackle in the back. Again, Garganackle very strong. I don't know about this setup for Curse here. We see a Fiery Dance coming in from the Volcarona, knocking out the Braviary, and now it is just Indeedee all on its own against 3 of Sallow's Pokemon. Alright, so let's see if Curse has got it in him. Again, another position where he finds himself in a 3v1. Last time we saw his Armarouge take down 1 Mon. I don't think Indeedee is set up in a position here to be able to take out 2, as we see the Wide Guard from Garganackle, and I think that's going to limit Curse's output here. Curse does go for that Psychic onto the Volcarona. It does knock out the Volcarona, so again, Curse pushing back, not giving up all entirely here, as we do see the Garganackle try to go for that Wide Guard to prevent that Hyper Voice Psychic knocking out that Volcarona, and now Gothitelle forcing Curse to just have to use Hyper Voice, and Garganackle just being able to then Wide Guard, and Gothitelle potentially just Psychicking Indeedee to the end of the match. So I think at this point it's pretty safe to call it. We see Indeedee going for Psychic onto the Garganackle. That's good targeting. Obviously, you do want to take care of the 1-1 that can stop you from hitting your spread move, and the only move that you can hit the other Mon is that move it resists. We do see the Trick Room finally here from Gothitelle, so now Garganackle is going to put a lot more pressure onto Curse. Again, Sallow doing a magnificent job of at all times applying pressure onto Curse's side, and Curse not necessarily having enough room to counteract that pressure that was being put onto him. So right now, the priority has been shifted. Trick Room is in effect. That Garganackle is going to attack first, and it can go for any move it potentially wants to go for, and it will take out this Indeedee. We do see the Salt Cure come in, and it does take out the Indeedee. That is a 2-0 victory for the Cuernavaca Cyndaquils, Sallow, and Curse taking a loss to Boston Red Claws. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoy, Superior VGC will be back next week.